Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News Channel 101. Today we will be talking about how to file your taxes. So if you want to learn how to file your taxes, continue watching. Here's a few little tips that you should know and some terms that I think that are personally very important. There is dependent filing status, deductions, and credits. When it comes to dependents, this is when a child or a relative or yourself is dependent on somebody else for more than 50% of your financial responsibility. When it comes to filing status, this is when you are wanting to see what tax bracket you are. For example, if you're single, married, this will allow you to see what type of credits will go towards you. When it comes to deductions, this is when you can have deductions off of your taxes when it comes to anything, for example, like charity or student loans that you've paid. When it comes to credits, this is when it is directly taken off of your taxes that you owe. How do you determine on if you need to file taxes? Well, here are some main points that you should think about when it comes to requirements. You have to be single or married jointly or married separately when it comes to filing status. You want to have more than $1,100 when it comes to unearned income, which is interest or dividends. When it comes to earned income, you want to have more than $12,400 or gross income of $1,100 or an earned income of $12,050 plus an additional $350.
If you don't fall under these requirements, don't worry. You have specific categories that you can fall under. If you're too young and you're under the age of 18 and you have a part-time job, you technically don't need to file since it is a part-time job and you're under the age of 18. But if you want to file, you can, and you can get a refund, but it is not necessary. But when it comes to if you're older than 65 and you're too old or you have a disability, you're less likely to give taxes due to Social Security benefits.
Taxes and dependents. So are you the dependent or can you claim anyone else around you who can be a dependent? When it comes to dependents, this also does not include your pets. Just keep that in mind. So how can you know if you fall under this dependent topic? So here are some requirements. Someone who you can provide at least half of the financial support. The child is legally related under 19 years old or is a full student under the age of 24. A relative who makes less than $4,300 in a year. Lives with you at least half of the year. And any child who is fully and permanently disabled and is also a citizen of the U.S., Canada, or Mexico. By knowing these requirements, you need to know that if you make more than $12,200 a year, then you need to file taxes no matter what. But if you fall under these requirements and get paid less than $12,200 a year, you're a dependent. So how do you claim a dependent if you aren't one? Once you have confirmed that they are qualified as a dependent, you have a few more questions to claim them. You cannot just claim them if a dependent has claimed someone else as a dependent. Your dependent files jointly with someone else. They are already claimed as a dependent with divorced parents. Tiebreaker rules help that decide whoever claims that dependent.
So how to file each tax form? So these are three main tax forms to consider: the W-2, 1040, and the W-4. Each of them have specific roles in this tax filing. So when it comes to the W-2, what information does it provide? It provides the gross income, amount deducted for state, federal, Medicare, Social Security tax, and then other benefits and other information for that year. What to complete? So there is basically nothing to complete for this form, and it is useful in other tax forms because of the information it provides, shown on the picture on the right. When it comes to the W-4, it provides information to tell the employer of the employer's filing status, amount credits and deductions, amount the other income, and how much money the employer should withhold from each paycheck. When it comes to completing this form, fill in the steps A through C. Only fill in the step 2 to 4 if they apply to you. Determine on if they apply to you by reading each section. So make sure that you read each section very thoroughly. Finally, step 5, you sign and date the form before returning it into the employer. When it's complete, you generally want to complete this form when starting the job, so then the employer knows before they give you your first paycheck on how much to take out when it comes to taxes or any other deductions. And here is what the W-4 looks like. So a little bit more information when completing this form. The information it provides is to tell the employer the employee's filing to status, the amount of credits and deductions, and the other income to calculate on how much money the employer should withhold from each paycheck when it comes to taxes. When it's completed, like before, fill in the steps A through C. Only fill in steps 2 to 4 if they only apply to you, and make sure you are reading each section very clearly. If you don't understand something, make sure that you have either someone else look over it with you to understand it, or a professional tax filer. Finally, in step 5, you can sign and date the form before returning it into the employer. When completed, you want to complete this in the start of your new job, and the purpose for this form is to determine your balance due or to refund in each tax session. So you don't want to be low when it comes to withholding less taxes when you should be filing a little bit more. So when it comes to the 1040, what information does it provide? The 1040 provides how much you owe to the government and if you are able to get a refund back. What to complete? You need to complete this form with your W-2, which holds the income, gross, and federal income tax and other taxes that were withheld. So for the 1040, the information basically provides the government to see what taxes were given and if you gave enough or if you overpaid. The steps when it comes to filing this, you have to go through the filing status of your personal information, make sure that you have the standard deductions and mark down if you have any dependents. Lines 1 through 33 about your income and any other declared payments that you could have when it comes to different jobs that you may have, or if you only have that one. Only do one or the other if you have a refund. Only needed to if your amount of money is higher when subtracting the lines 33 and 24. So if your number is lower than the line of 24, that means that you owe money and you only have to do one or the other. The last thing that you need to do is the third-party designee. This will allow the government to know that somebody was helping you and you had a third party look at it.
Lastly, there's a couple of things that you should know as well. These are dates that make sure that you file your taxes on time. When it comes to the W-4, you want to apply for that and give it to your employer the first day of your new job. This allows your employer to see what withholds they can put on your paycheck once you get your first paycheck. When it comes to January 31st, this is when you should get your W-2. This should not be received later than January 31st, and you should contact your employer if you don't receive it by then. At April 15th, this is when you should file your 1040. This is called tax day. This allows you to file your taxes on time and to make sure that you either get your refund or pay the taxes that are due if you haven't paid enough of them.